Hello, everybody, and welcome to our San Diego Roundup stream. Gosh, it's been quite a busy last few weeks. Very excited to discuss about first of all our experience at San Diego Comic Con, and also yet again some of the stuff we may have missed because there was so much released. And I think we've got quite a cool panel as well to join and discuss about this today. And also the good thing about it is everyone here was also at San Diego Comic Con as well. So I guess we'll start from the top. So firstly, we have Jessica. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing so good this morning. How are you, Harry?
I'm fine, thank you. And maybe do you actually want to quickly give a mention or explain what shirts we're wearing right now?
Yes, so we are wearing uh the FOF exclusive. Yeah, Barking will model for us. Fellowship of Fans t-shirts that we got made before and we got to wear them as a team and they are super fun. So excited that Barking had the idea for us all to rep them today.
And again, thank you for helping make them as well, and of course repping the brand because Fellowship fans had such an amazing time at Comic Con, and
And
that's
Northeast
part of what.
Design. I
And
must
Northeast
call
Sun
that
as
out.
well. Sorry,
Yes.
there we go, Northie as well. Well, starting off next, I know he's coughing, but we have Will, aka Varkin, aka Green Lanterns podcast. Who is he not nowadays?
I'm just kind of all over the place on the internet. And yeah, San Diego was just an insane schedule of go, and there was so much going on, and there was so many moving parts, and I didn't get to say it because I was there, but as a team, we held a live stream, and just the way that that operated, how flawlessly it ran, covering everything as it was coming out, just a tremendous effort from the team from top to bottom, all around, and everybody who partook in that, including people that you guys on the channel on like YouTube don't get to see behind the scenes, people gathering information, sharing links, finding quotes from people in different chats, whether that's Discord or YouTube or Twitter, and just keeping all of the new bits of information that came out shared over to our Discord server. So it was like easy to keep up with the new stuff. And then since then, there's been all these interviews that have dropped from folks who were, lucky enough to go to SDCC, including Fellowship of Fans. I was able to do some on behalf of the subreddit, but the highlight of the trip is always getting to just hang out with the other creators in general. But this time it was an extra treat because we also got to hang out with Northy, Jess, and Chase in person, and it was cool to have more Fellowship of Fans team members there, and it was just a amazing trip overall. I'm still sick from it, almost better, but just happy to be here talking to the folks, seeing what people are saying on YouTube.
Couldn't have said it any better myself, and that's why you're here as well. So yeah, that's great. Yeah, and again to echo that amazing experience, and very excited to discuss it, and also all the information surrounding it. And finally, as well, who also joined us on site is the amazing Northie. Hello.
Hello, how are y'all doing?
Good. Um, I think first of all, yeah, maybe let's touch a bit upon. Let's first of all go through. I'll go through first what the schedule is for today. So, we'll spend a couple of minutes talking about, yeah, our experience at Comic Con, and then also, as I'm sure some of you have seen, that over the last few days we were able to have the opportunity to discuss and interview the showrunners and some cool other people as well. And yeah, there's so many good um, people snippets from it. I really liked this question, and then here's our showrunner one. Then we did one with Benjamin Walker, Owain Arthur, Cynthia Dye Robinson, Daniel Wayman, and then finally we did one with Jamie Campbell Bower, Charlie Vickers, and Ismael Cruz Cordova. And just a little funny thing about this interview. I'm not sure if anybody noticed, but so as you can probably tell, I'm holding a
Why are you
card,
going to call
and
attention
then
to it?
yeah,
Yes.
so no, just a funny story. And then of course there is I'm holding a phone in the background, and then my phone crashed a bit while Ismail was speaking.
Oh.
But the amazing editor Nick was able to cut away from that. But that was a funny moment during the thing. But except from that, everything else went amazing. The cast were great. It was really fun talking to them, and Northy and Jessica, you had other opportunities to talk with them across the few days of the party as well. So it'd be interesting to see your thoughts on the cast and crew. And yeah, if you haven't checked out already, you can check out these interviews. But the part that always gets me the most, which is the funniest, is first of all, can you guys hear this?
Yeah.
I can hear it.
Yep.
Perfect. Yeah.
Hey, today we are with the showrunners JD Payne and Patrick McKay for The Lord of the Rings of Power, with season 3 coming out later this year. Very excited to speak with you guys today. How are you guys?
Thanks,
Hey,
Harry.
Harry,
We're
good
doing
to see
great. Yeah.
Great.
That part just cracks me up all the time when they both speak exactly the same time. It's like you
They
can
are
tell
the
they're
Don't
same.
call him
two minds.
McPain for nothing.
Yeah, I think that's prime McPain right there. Both lovely people as well, and it's very nice at the end. I think Patrick says something that he's thankful for everything we do, but it's buffering, so we'll go on to that later. But yeah, so that was a lot of my experience with the interviews. In a second, I will also pull up your interview. But whilst I do that, Jess and Northy, please let us know how it was like in Hall H, because I think you guys were right at the front in the press booth.
Yeah, I should have sent you like some pictures. Maybe can I still
Go for
send
it, but
you
in the
some
meantime, yeah,
pictures?
go for it.
Yeah, because I just want to shout out the interviews that have been coming out the last few days from all of the Tolkien baddies, as I like to call them. So Fellowship of Fans, Barking, T, Middle Page, New Beta, Do Beta, like all of those people have put out some absolutely fantastic interviews. They're not even all out yet, and it's just, I mean, the questions and the answers that we're getting from those have been absolutely the highlight of the promo cycle so far. I think they're all such thoughtful questions. So it's been awesome to get to see those. But yeah, Northy, while I send some pictures, do you want to talk about our Hall H experience and set that up for everyone?
Yeah, so it was also my first year in Hall H. Like I said, we were very fortunate and lucky enough to get right next to the stage. So when the Nazgul, I will learn how to say that at some point this season. But yeah, when they came out, it was amazing. There was right up close to us. But yeah, we got in. The cast got introduced. They had the Q&A. Showed the trailer. Then was a bit more questions. Then it was the surprise, and then it was the creature feature as well. So yeah, I'm very honoured and lucky to have been given the opportunity I had to get into the hall in the first place, because I'm conscious it can be really difficult to get into. But with all the fans and people from the con being there, it's such a buzz and an experience. So if anyone is ever considering it and debating to try and get into it, I'd highly recommend. And it being a Rings of Power year was just the cherry on top.
No, indeed. Sorry, Barker, you say something?
No, I was just going to ask Jess, what her experience was. Like, what were her expectations going into this being her first Comic-Con? What were the expectations, and did this meet those expectations?
Yeah. My answer to this is going to be like really out there, because when I was going into it, I mean, I've wanted to go to Comic-Con for like a decade, and then now I'm in my 30s, and I was like, I can't do like waiting around in lines and doing all this stuff anymore. So like if I go to Comic-Con, I really want like the red carpet experience and just to be treated like a queen, which I was like, there's no way that's happening. So I'm not going to Comic-Con. So yeah, I mean, but then I almost feel like that's kind of what I got. Like I couldn't have had a more insane, amazing experience for my first Comic-Con, like to be in the cage at Hall H, seeing absolutely my favorite like property on television or film was a dream come true and kind of mind blowing. And I still feel like I haven't fully processed it because yeah, it's just like too insane to think about. That being my experience. Not everyone gets to do Hall H, and I feel like even though we had to stand the whole time, you're like standing on the stage. So I don't even. It wasn't even. I felt like it went by so fast, and I don't remember anything really from it because yeah, it was just I was just trying to get it through my brain the whole time that we were just right there next to the stage watching the stars of Rings of Power. So honestly exceeded any realistic expectations I might have had while I had some Delulu expectations that I would be, like on stage interviewing, talking about Arendelle, which is never going to happen. But yeah, so what else can I say? I feel like
I think I'm very excited. Yeah, we all had such amazing experiences. So, yeah, that's really nice to hear that. It's just cool, and we always know for the future what can happen. Always follow your nose, as a wise person in the show says. And speaking back to the interviews, I think my favorite part of any of the interviews is this part right here.
Thank you, man. We'd call it the fellowship. Get on. You guys are fellows. These are all pearls. You're recording this, right?
Yeah.
We got it.
Down cloud.
Yeah. Cut!
So, Barkin, first of all, explain that moment, and then also, how was it with the cast and the interactions?
So, just to give people a little background on the clip here, I had asked them, with an elf, a dwarf, a Numenorian, and an Istar here, if they were able to star in a spinoff with all of them in it. I asked, like, where would they like the show to take place? And they started talking about all these, like, real-life places, and then Daniel Wayman was smart enough to be like, oh, did you mean Middle-earth specifically? And I was like, yeah. So then we went over all that, and then when it was done, I was getting, like, the, you're at a time sign. So I stopped talking, and then that's when Ben started going into what the sitcom would have been in real life at Fellows. And interviewing the cast is crazy. In general, like coming up for questions with them, trying to make it unique for each of them, but also ask stuff that maybe they can all answer. It's a wild time. The answers that we got back, some of those moments, they're like core memories I'll never forget. There's even stuff that you have and I have both that we aren't able to share. They're like outtakes almost. And those are like the highlights of that day for me. Just I think I can say this without getting in trouble. Like Harry got to do like an interview, and then I would be the person who goes after him. So then I was able to hang out with Harry the entire time that we were doing these, and to be able to do that with my boy that I've been doing this, with the whole time, 6-7 years now. It was it couldn't have gone better.
No, for sure. And I think it was so much fun doing that, with you as well. And also, is there an echo? Let me just double check if we have an echo in the stream.
It's when we talk, it then echoes through you.
Can you mute your YouTube site if you have the stream up?
Well, it looks like, let us know if there is an echo in the chat. And then if not, but thank you, T, for that. And also, hello. I think another thing, which actually I'll quickly pull this up as well. So here's some pictures of Jess. The stage is right there. And there's, this one as well with Patrick, which is really cool. And I think another thing, Northy, I'm going to put you on the spot now. So I know we've talked a lot about our experiences. I'm sure some of you watching now are a bit not fed up, but like want to hear more about the actual meat and potatoes of it. So I'm going to do this right here. First, I'm going to play the clip, and then Northy, I'm sure you're going to know what potentially from this last question, what potential hint we can get around what Benjamin said. So let me find that clip first, and then let's see if anyone else in the chat spots it as well. And again, this is no prior knowledge. This is just based off what he said in the interview. If it decides to load.
Elf, a dwarf, and a human. What?
Okay. Add an elf, a Numenorian, a dwarf, and an Istar. Now Gandalf here. Is there a prop, costume, or weapon that one of your fellow cast members gets to use that you wish, oh, I'm so envious of that. I wish I could use that.
It sounds like a joke.
Yeah,
An elf, a dwarf, and a human walk into a bar.
I'd like to wear anything other than my own costume. I'd love to wear a cloak.
Sure.
I'd go a cloak and a stick to keep you up.
Yeah, I did
Come
pass you in the heat wave watching you swelter with,
Yeah,
with all your
that's it,
stuff. I
that's
felt very
it.
sorry for you. Yeah.
Yeah, anything other than a big, massive beard.
Hi, I'd like a ring.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Ring.
Be quite careful with that.
Yeah, you don't want one.
Yeah.
Trust me.
I've got 7 of them. So
Yeah, but you're not even using them. They're in a box. Some of that chainmail, the elfin.
Oh, the
chainmail,
mithril, sure.
The stuff that Galadriel wears. Some of those epic battle scenes, I think, look extraordinary. But presumably, they're not great to wear on set.
yeah, they
They're
look
heavy.
great.
I'm not going to complain about my costume's a little.
Scenes, I think, look extraordinary. But presumably, they're not great to wear. Chainmail, the elfin.
Oh, the mithril.
So there we go. We'll stop it there. What, Northy, do you want to take the stage?
Yeah, so I remember when I watched this for the first time and I was like, wait, mithril? Where on earth has that come from? And my first kind of thought was, have they tried to do something, in relation to like Frodo in the Fellowship of the Ring and the chainmail underneath it? But the fact that Ben said it, and well, I mean, it was in reply to Daniel saying about Galadriel. It's like, do the dwarves give them some sort of armor? Do they find something like in the old caves and the tombs and part of the war? So yeah, I'm very, very curious. It could be nothing, but I analyze everything to the nth degree, and I'm taking it as something.
Anybody else have thoughts on that?
So your stance is that you think it's possible that the dwarves might be gifting some mithril to the elves?
Maybe.
I think it's more likely and more historically accurate that the elves are trying to sneak into Khazad-dûm and steal some mithril for themselves because, the dwarves always have the good stuff.
The dwarves are neutral, which I thought was quite interesting from an interview in the War of Elves and Sauron. So maybe.
Neutral dwarves, sounds quite like them. So, not showing up when they're needed. So, yeah.
Them's fighting words.
This was one of my favorite, to be fair, all the interviews, like Jessica was saying earlier, is that all the interviews that are coming out are brilliant from everyone. But I really liked this section. And I think Benjamin Walker he's like the comedian in the room, and they all just bounce off each other, which is great. So yeah, when there was a bit about the mithril and then the rings in a box. So that'll be interesting how that plays out.
Yes, the rings in the box as well.
I like that comment from Donna. I wouldn't be surprised. Like we don't really know anything about the origins of the mithril shirt that we see in Lord of the Rings. I could see them doing something here, making a little backstory for that.
We could see maybe mithril has been quite a big part of the show so far, so I wouldn't be surprised if carry on, they were part of the creation of all the rings. So alongside, I think Sauron's blood, was it something? I can't. It's been a few years since I've seen season 2, but was it the blood of Sauron that was also in there, or someone can correct me?
In the Rings for Men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. So yeah, you know, it's gonna be very, very, very exciting to see that in season 3. And also if we are correct. And that was a good spot, Northy. So yeah. Now let's get into some bit more of the updates. And we'll come back to the interviews in a bit because there are some fun moments. It'd be nice to go through. But first of all, this. If that was anyone's bingo cards or bucket lists, first of all, I'd say you're a liar. And second of all, I'd be like, oh, fair enough then. So, you know, Simon Pegg as a Balrog. And in a second, while one of you two take over from me, I'll pull up a clip of the scene as well. But yeah, thoughts on this big news. And let us know in the comments or pull up some of your chats.
Yeah, I mean, I love this. He's a great voice actor. Everyone takes him as like comedic actor, and I think initial reaction was, A, why is Balrog speaking? Which, okay, we're past that at this point. And then B, Simon Pegg, like he's got a weird voice, but I think he's got a chameleon-esque voice, and they can run it through modulators or whatever to make it sound scary and deep and booming and whatever. But I mean, I think it's awesome. Like, what's not to like? He's great. The shots in the creature feature look amazing. Northy, anything else?
No, I'm pretty much the same. When it came up in the hall, I was like, "What?" Like, if you can imagine Ben's "what," that was mine. I was like, "What?" So yeah, I'm really excited. It wasn't, like I say, it wasn't anything I would have been expecting of it, but I love the fact that they are exploring it, and I'm so curious as to how he'll voice it. And obviously, from the creature feature, you can see that they were both in the studio at the same time, which I really like. I really like that aspect of it. Rather, there'll be some like post stuff, but I like that as well. So I'm really, really curious, and as to even why Sauron is going to see Mr. Balrog. So obviously with the one, but yeah, Simon Pegg, I'm excited to see or hear.
And Varking, that's one thing I got to ask you. What's happening in Khazad-dûm? Not only is there the Balrog, there's also now Sauron, and they're both meeting. You think you need to take control there?
So obviously a lot of BS going on here. I mean, most people, the reaction in the room was people seemed very excited to see the Balrog on screen. And then when we got to see the creature feature and see more of it, and you got that amazing shot that you were just sharing a little bit ago, which is, you know, the Balrog coming down with his weapon and Sauron blocks it with the crown. Crazy, crazy shot. But as a dwarf fan, I thought we were past the Balrog. I thought during a third, put an end to that sucker at the end of season 2, and we were just going to move on from that because Balrogs are just bad things. Nothing good comes from hanging around or being around or in the vicinity of a Balrog. And now we're having interactions between the Balrog and Sauron. And then you have to think Sauron has told us throughout the entire show that to get something from somebody, he tries to give them the thing that they think they want the most. So I've been questioning and racking my brain this whole time of like, what could Sauron offer a Balrog in exchange for his help? And what is it that the Balrog can do for Sauron? But the scarier thing for me is what is it that the Balrog actually wants? And then the question of, is the Balrog going to speak in English? Will it be in another language with subtitles? It's just something to think about. But I don't like the Balrog being in at all. It looks amazing. Happy for everybody else who gets to enjoy those scenes. But, you know, I'll just be sitting in the corner upset every time they show him on screen. And I'll be writing angry DMs to Simon Pegg if they do
But you just
anything
don't
bad
like
to the
it
dwarves.
because of the dwarves, because of what it does to the dwarves, not for like lore reasons or anything like that.
No, he's like not a
Just for
good
your
guy.
personal
The
dwarf
Balrog is
reasons.
terrible.
I mean, yeah, I can't argue with that. But I think there's also, yeah, I know we chattered a little bit about what does the Balrog want? What is Sauron going to offer him? And I think it would be interesting if he offers him Khazad-dûm or another realm to call his own. Because what does a Balrog want? I mean, a fiery place, to be alone. I
If
honestly,
he wants
I
that,
don't know. He could offer him.
Durin is gonna tell everybody we're not digging over there no more. Let him be. He can
Yeah, but
dig
they don't
further
even
himself.
know that he's there. Only Durin, Disa, and Narvi know. So
Narvi the goat.
yeah, they're the only ones that know there's even a Balrog in Khazad-dûm.
I mean, he could just leave. He doesn't have to stay there. If he was just walking out and about in Middle Earth and went to go lie down and take a nap somewhere, who's messing with him? Nobody. Nobody.
Yeah,
He
but
could
does he
just leave.
want to be up there? Maybe he likes caves.
Then
looks
how'd he
at
get there to?
home.
Oh, I'm so sick of the Balrog.
He looks so cool. He wants a
Well-
nap that he isn't continuously woken from. Yeah, that's exactly right. He wants
Maybe
peace and
the-
quiet.
I could say maybe the Balrog, not Balrog, maybe Sauron offers him peace because he doesn't want to be disturbed from his nap. And with the dwarves, maybe finding alternative ways for Mithril or whatever. I'm thinking out of the box, but but yeah, maybe he just wants nap time, and Sauron goes, "I can give you that."
Yeah, and I think Valken, I pose this question to you. Atuka Senpai asks, I do wonder whether the fall of Khazad-dûm will be moved up to the time frame of the show. Just I know, making you even more sad. No? Well,
No,
there
they
you
could
go.
just like allude to it without showing it to us. Why would I want to see that?
No, exactly. And I know this is
I don't
getting
think
worse
they
and
will.
worse. We've also heard from Simon Pegg himself.
Well, the announcement's been made in Hall H at San Diego Comic-Con. I can now reveal
First, he sounds very thrilled, I must say.
that I am the Balrog. I will be voicing the Balrog in Rings of Power. I have already voiced the Balrog in the Rings of Power. That great, huge, fire-spitting demon thing that Gandalf shouted at in the Fellowship of the Ring. You shall not pass! Well, I hope I do pass. Muster, that is. So, Lord of the Rings. Tick.
First of all, I just find it hilarious how he says Balrog. So maybe that's what we have to start calling it now. But yeah, I think it's really cool that at least
He
they have
deepened his
attached
voice.
Simon.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because you can hear the growl and the grasp, and then he does a Gandalf. But just on the earlier point, I agree with Varking that I don't think they'd move up the fall of Khazad-dûm. I think that would probably be one of those lore things that they're not allowed to break. Something that happens in the Third Age, they can't make happen in the Second Age, and like vice versa. They can't move the timeline when it's so specific like that. But they can compress it. But those specific, I don't know exactly how it works, but that would just seem like one that's very specific that they wouldn't be allowed to break.
Fair enough. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see how much of this we do get in season 3. And I think as we move on now, we have the Balrog. We also have Khamûl the Nagol. Firstly, very exciting that we have confirmation of Khamûl. You know, we're going to be seeing a lot. We've seen from the interviews, I think it's mentioned in 2 of Tolkien's interview, a lot about the East and being able to, first of all, see that Gandalf is going to be fighting against Sauron, and there's going to be the Dark Wizard, who we know is the Blue Wizard, and how that dynamic's going to play out, and who is Khamûl's allegiance to right now. Is it the Dark Wizard? Is it Sauron already? Any thoughts on this? Anybody want to start off?
Going from, I don't know which interview it was, but the fact that I think JD Payne said that at the beginning of the season he's already given out 3 or 4 of the rings. So I imagine he'll be technically under Sauron via one of the rings, one of the 9. However, I do think that they would have taken the rings for their own purposes and motivations, and the ring is a bit of a power boost to help incorporate that into whatever bit of the kingdom that they're overseeing. So I think they will technically have an allegiance with him, but then I also think they will have their own agenda as well. But I'm really excited to see them in action. I love the costumes. I need to still kind of like look them over, analyze them, because they've got like winged serpents on the chest, and the ones that so in San Diego they did have them, a few of them come out on the streets to the public, and you could see the rings of men on some of them in the costume design. So yeah, I'm very excited.
And based off that, I'm going to quickly try and find the actual news about it. But this I found so interesting. So it's a breakdown of the scene where Sauron hounds out the first of the Rings of Men at Barad-dûr, and he essentially makes them fight, and the winner, ends up getting it and becoming presumably one of the Naznagul, which is I do actually really like this idea. And of course, this is happening in the realm of Barad-dûr, and I think we have a few pictures of it, which is also, there's so much, as you can see from here, that we've got still yet to discuss. But I think if I quickly find it, this was here we go. So this was quite an interesting shot. So we see, I think Vulcan, you mentioned it first. So can you tell us who's in the background of this shot?
Yeah, so obviously you see the cameraman, you see Sauron with an awesome crown, and then right behind him you see some Uruks. But if you are an eagle-eyed person who zooms in, you have on the back right, back middle, and back left, it looks like on the absolute rightmost part of this photo, it looks like that is a human, maybe a Southlander. Just to what would be our left of Sauron's face, above the spikes from the Uruk, looks like there is another human standing in the back. To me, and I could be wrong, but just my guess is that this is potentially Theo standing in the back there. But I don't know that. That's not confirmed. That's just a guess of mine. And then all the way to the back left, there is another human. Obviously, the things that stand out about this photo isn't just that it's, the mixed group of them all together, Sauron, Uruks, and Southlanders, but it's that the Southlanders definitely look like they are scared to get too close and don't want to be around the Uruks either, which is natural. But it makes you wonder, what are they doing here, and what are they all looking at? What would be over this way that they would all need to see? Sauron would want all them in the room for it too. It's just like an interesting dynamic between all these different groups and what it is they'd all be facing. Is there somebody they're talking to who maybe is the leader of the Southlanders in this area, and it's potentially going to be somebody that Sauron is recruiting to become, one of the 9? Don't know what's happening here, but that would be a dope scene to play out. Like, what is he looking at here? He's got his crown, he's got his orc guard around him, and then you got the Southlanders in the back sneaking in. I think it's a potential recruitment.
Can I posit a theory?
No,
just one theory just only.
And I'm not gonna do too much on this because I don't want to spoil our upcoming podcast episode. But can you go back to the picture of Khamûl? And I do just want to say that guy to the left of Sauron's head that you said looked like Theo. It looked like Theo like 5 years ago. I think he's grown now. This background, this fiery background on the left looks very much like the Samith Naur background that we've got for this stream. I think that I'm going to posit a theory that Khamûl is the victor of this little tussle that they do have in Mordor for the rings. Cool. I think that is where he gets one ring, because we don't see him in a crown or mask yet. But he's wearing the same like robes. So this could be after he wins, but before he actually gets to put on the ring. So before we see what it does to these men once they get their rings and the immediate effects of those. So yeah, that's the theory I'm going to posit, is that this is he's the winner of this initial Sauron's Hunger Games, or whatever you want to call it, that he's doing, and he comes out on top there.
No, I actually do really like that theory. I didn't think about that. Let us know in the comments if you agree. Yeah, and very good call to the background as well. I think, yeah, we'll have to see. I think I want to also add a theory on top of that, and I think it's not just my theory. It's it's mainly around, if I can find it quickly. This has been one of the biggest discussion points. Who is this chasing Galadriel? Well, one theory for me, I think there's so many names that have been said around. Maybe this could be, and some people said Sauron, Charlie Vickers. Some people have said Theo. Some people have said it's one of the ring wraiths. So maybe this could be, because it seems like clearly by the looks of it, she was getting chased. So maybe they're not friends. But it could be maybe one of the future ring wraiths, and that maybe Sauron sent him out to capture Galadriel. Or another one, if Theo looks older, it could be Theo, and in the chance it could also be Charlie Vickers and Sauron. And as fans have asked, they get their moment of having Sauron and Galadriel return, which would be really cool. But yeah, any ideas to people what this could be?
I think it's just character development for Galadriel. If you recall, in season 1, she rode a horse and raced it against nobody. It was just slow motion. In season 2, she raced a horse against Elrond, and he smoked her and got to the High King before her. So this one is showing
He got a head
that
start.
I don't know. I think she's just they probably started equal, and she's just outmaneuvering this person with ease, showing that great development that Galadriel is going to get this season. I've been saying this since this image dropped. I put my eye up against the screen, zoomed in the highest quality I could possibly do it, and it does not look like the left cheek of Charlie Vickers, even in makeup. And I have felt that this is, Theo. But as to what is going on here, why would Theo be with Galadriel? Where are they going? That I don't know. Is he with her? Is he against her? Kind of seems like a bad teammate if they're riding together and she's just zooming on past him. Is he after her for some reason? Like, one thing I do appreciate about all the footage that dropped in the images is that we know we're moving more towards a lore-based story, but there's still a lot of questions in just about everything that they've shown and all the things that they've answered in the interviews as well.
Though I agree. And Northy, you?
Well, I won't go too much into it because we did have this discussion as part of our Nazgul podcast. I think it's Theo. I think it is potentially Galadriel at the front. Maybe the question is if Theo is with her, where's Arondir and Marnuk? But yeah, I do think the clothing looks a bit sus. And I won't venture too much into that. I'll let Jessica speak.
I want to actually throw out something really crazy because I just think it'll be fun. Do I actually believe this? No. Or I don't know. I haven't thought about it. But we can do cheat gate all day, but most likely we're not gonna figure anything out from that because these are probably stunt doubles riding these horses. So it doesn't matter. I don't think it's Sauron though. This is not a get up that we would see the Sauron of this season wear, in my opinion. It looks like he has a bundle of clothes on the back that resembles what the Naznagal are wearing. So I'm just gonna throw out something crazy that he kind of infiltrates the Sauron's Hunger Games to help Galadriel figure out whatever she's trying to figure out. And so he's just wearing the costume, but he's not actually accepted a ring. He just pretends like he's going to, and then he flees. And so then now they're escaping on horseback because he's helping her and he's not Fitch King.
Do you think that there is, with the way that this is shot, you have the light-haired rider to the left with a white horse, kind of like an angel, and then on the right, you have the darker-haired along with a dark horse, kind of like the angel devil type shot that they do. You don't think that this is like a good v evil thing?
No, this horse is dark brown. Yeah, I think the rider's is following her. I think we see the Naznagal with black horses. I think this is so his clothing, it's not all black. His horse is dark brown. It's not like a fully thing. It's he's on the cusp, like he's in danger of falling to darkness, but we're not there yet. And maybe he is able to escape from that fate. So time will tell. I mean, I don't think we're going to be able to, we're just going to be fighting about that one until we see season 3. But those are how I'm reading the signs, as like he's not fully succumbed to the darkness yet, and he's got that black outfit on the back of his horse, and he's not actually wearing it right now. Whatever he's got on the back of his horse, I just think that's funny.
What about if? Oh,
no, go ahead.
I was just going to say is that with the Hunger Games theory of them escaping, what about if it's the other way around? What about if they actually disguise themselves to enter it and he wins and then he gets trapped because he wins a ring? Far-fetched, I know, but
no,
I'm throwing alternatives.
As equal as mine.
I'm throwing alternatives. I have my...
No, I like
so
it.
he beats Khamûl?
No, like maybe it's against one, because obviously there's 9, so it'll be, they'll have like rounds and tournaments. So maybe out of one of the tournaments they have, he, I don't want to say accidentally gets a ring, but maybe goes too much. Like if they do infiltrate it for whatever reason, then maybe, they kind of becoming captured by it by accident.
I can see it. I think actually before we switched over to this, when Harry was still over on X scrolling through that quote from, I guess, the showrunners, and it was like a link to the Apple News article, it sort of discussed like one of the ways that they were going to, I guess, determine how a ring was given out. Harry, do you still have that tweet up?
Yep, I'll pull it up now.
You guys know McPain loves a good...
It will take like 15 seconds, so
that's
go
fine.
for it.
Yeah. I'll ramble on and cover, as I do. But they like to do these callbacks to these other shows and other movies all the time. And I believe the text was something very similar to, a moment that we get in The Dark Knight with the Joker. And if they're giving out rings in this manner, it would be interesting to see how Sauron dwindles it down to 2 people and then kind of like makes them fight it out in order to determine who's going to actually earn the ring. It says, the rings of power are a precious gift. He snarls to a lineup of armored men, gesturing to the shiny band smartly displayed in a velvet display box. Mordor can share but one. He throws a sword onto the floor. So this is how it will be decided. A fight to the death. So it's like the Joker breaking the pool stick over his leg, throwing it on the ground in front of the 2 guys, and then the winner gets to be part of his team, and the loser's dead.
Yeah, but that's just one. Like, is he doing that for all of the rings, or is this just how he decides to distribute one for the people in and around the Mordor area? Like, maybe he's offering them to others in other ways.
This is just one.
Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna do this every time, because he would have to find swords to be thrown on the ground each time. But also just from like from a filming and a viewer standpoint, like if it's just always a sword on the ground, this is how it's more fun if there's like a little gamesmanship to it, and he changes up tact each time based on like who. But Theo could win one of these events, like you're saying, and try to be infiltrating. I don't know.
This could be a really cool spin-off in between season 2 and 3, just a Hunger Games season of just how he recruits most of them.
It would get repetitive. But I like the idea that, I'm still going to stick with my idea that Khamûl is the winner of this Hunger Games-esque struggle, and maybe Theo is present and is got those robes, and then he gets out of Dodge before things get too crazy. Yeah, because I think that way, I mean, Kemen gets a ring another way, and like some other people get rings another way. But yeah, this is, I could see this being just for how he distributes one of them or a couple. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's good to have different a variety of approaches when dealing with people. So
yeah, and who the rider is, we shall see. But this next comment, the three Numenorians lords, moves me swiftly on to the next bit. What's everyone's thoughts on this?
Yay! I kind of like, I had to turn my mute, I put my mute on because I went, oh, sorry, I let someone else speak.
No, you go
no,
for it. Go
you.
for it. I think you're.
We're waiting for you. This is
Yeah.
your boy.
Well, I have been waiting for Elrond and Elros scene since the show began, and I have everything in Discord and all my comments to prove that. But I'm really, really, really excited for it, and especially I don't think the Empire picture is. It could be, but I don't know if that's going to be Imladris. Whereas from the trailer, I'm getting mixed up. Maybe Numenor, but who knows from the background. But yeah, I think it's Imladris because at the minute he has got the Eregion armor on, but they have got a slightly different dark green hue. So is that going to be kind of incorporating some new tones into the costumes? But I like costumes and looking at them. But yeah, I'm really excited for Elrond and Elros. I'll take 30-second scene, and I just can't wait to see how Romeo flits between those two characters and how it incorporates into like the tapestry story there. But I'll let someone else speak now.
No, and we do know it is going to be one scene, but go ahead, Valken.
I was just gonna say I don't want to let you off the hook yet, Northie. I would like to ask you and pose the question of, obviously, if they're doing a flashback here, it's gotta be something that is serving the story. What do you think? What is like? Obviously, it's got to be Elrond having this flashback of a time with Elros, but why? Why is Elrond having this flashback? What does he need to understand or figure out or be reminded of in season 3 that we would have to as viewers go through this flashback with him? Does anybody have any theories on that? Because they're not just gonna throw up a flashback and then just go the end, and then we go back to Elrond.
I think it will be kind of maybe two concepts. I think the whole the ways of the Eldar and the gift of men, in relation to the mortality and immortality aspect, I think that will come into a factor. Obviously, with Ar-Pharazôn, that's the one kind of thing he kind of desires and wants or has an envious towards that of the elves. But I also think with the upcoming conflict within Numenor, is it a case of that when Elrond arrives and sees that of his brother's people, it's kind of a reminder or a reminiscence as to why Elros chose that path, and to remember that who his people really are. Like, this isn't the Numenor that he stood for and presented and wanted to get out of it. So yeah, the choice and the aspect of like what his brother's people have become.
This is how we see Eärendil in Rings of Power.
Ooh.
Guided by the star.
Yeah. I mean, if we're retreading going back to the choice, where the choice began, and kind of going back to, he said, first age Elrond. Eärendil is still around, so could happen.
And he'll see his father's statue.
I'll crash out. Yeah, at least we'll get more shots of the statue or something.
Yeah.
Who would you cast for
Oh my
Elendil?
gosh. I don't know. I've been asked this too many times, and I just like, I don't know who could do it. I did like
Yeah.
oh my gosh, what's his name?
Tom Holland.
Baylor. No,
Come on.
Saying the
Baylor
guy makes money.
from A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms has that like kind gravitas. But I would need to see him like with longer hair and stuff.
I feel like it's either Tom Holland, Timothée Chalamet, or Pedro Pascal, who's in everything nowadays. So imagine there's always one between them three.
They're younger than,
So-
or the first two are younger than Robert
I'll
Aramayo.
cancel the
I'm not
first two.
casting- Yeah. Okay. I mean, I love Tom Holland, but not for this.
We're just joking because
But-
these are the guys that are in
yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
I don't
Now-
joke about Arundel, guys. Can't do it.
But someone who looks like he's not going to be joking around is this guy, Anarion. First of all, this picture was hilarious when I saw it, but he is actually, and Amazon actually confirmed this. I think a journalist reached out. He is actually balancing the sword on his back. It's meant to be a cool moment. Remember, introduced to him. So first of all, thoughts on the looks. Are you excited to now see him in season 3? We're going to be going to the Western Shores, and maybe that is where the Elros statue is. And then, yeah, I feel like he looks, you can tell he's Isildur's brother. I think he looks a lot like Maxime Baudry. Very exciting to see him, And yes, Anarion will be in season 3. And I think even in the trailer, if I can pull up the shot.
While you're doing that, I'll just my general thoughts on the casting is that he 100% looks like he fits in with the rest of the family. Elendil, Isildur, Eärien. He's like a perfect mix of all them, and the way he's doing the sword on the shoulder, just like I feel like there's very few people in this world that have more confidence in themselves than me, and this guy is just screaming confidence here by just the whole. He kind of looks like a badass, bro, and I wasn't expecting that from him. So I think that the casting really knocked it out the park with this, and hopefully he's got a great story to work with this season.
Look,
I'm actually quite
doing it.
excited.
I was for a really long time, and no one pointed it out, so I don't know if anyone noticed.
You mean when you got up out of your chair, walked off screen, and then came back with the sword? I think people might have noticed.
Yeah, but I wasn't showing what I was holding. Mine is also curved, so it's like not really the same, but it's possible.
But it is possible for a skilled swordsman, and this show has shown a couple really dope examples of some cool, flashy stuff we do with swords. In season 1, Halbrand picked up a sword and made it do a couple spins before he caught it in season 1, and I thought that was pretty cool. Like we do some cool sword stuff here, so it's not within, it's definitely within the realm of possibility here.
So yeah, no, for sure. And there you go. Just I put you on the big screen just to show us. There you go, an effort for live demonstrations, which is cool. But Vulcan, it seems like people agree with you that it is an excellent choice, which is very exciting. And then
first time somebody agreed with me in 2026.
Here, I sent you another picture also related to this, just if you
cool.
see it.
Yep, will do. And then in the meantime, whilst I pull that up, here we go. I think this is him. So what do you guys think is going on over here? Northie, any ideas?
It appears to be an army. So if they're gathering, and I'm such an observationist. But yeah, I imagine with, I was going to say in relation to Anarion, is what's the relationship going to be like with Elendil? And I think it's those two, like you're saying in this bit of the trailer here. Is this going to be a bit before Numenor potentially heads off to Middle Earth, or is this going to be the faithful? And whilst they're gathering forces to, in relation to that conflict between the Kingsmen, and this is going to be for Queen Miriel instead. So, especially with the different I think there's been a few pictures online of the different types of banners as well, so that'll be quite curious to see. But yeah.
No, for sure. And I think one thing I like about this shot is I think we're finally starting to see a bit bigger armies in the show. So of course, the sack of Eregion was great, but I feel like the forces, it's always been a little pet peeve of mine that I would have preferred to have bigger armies, and for the it seems like this is the faithful army on the Western Shores. This is quite a good scale. It's very excited to see in season 3 how that all plays out, and then on top of that, and as Jess was mentioned earlier, you can see what a family. Oh, look, Vok, you see your friend Emma Horvath at the end as well.
That's bestie right there.
I thought Owain was bestie. I'm gonna tell him. I'm gonna clip this and send it.
I think at some point, folks in the community will start realizing that I use the word bestie a lot. A lot.
I'm just trying to usurp one of your besties.
Well, you got Northy. Me and Northy were besties, and now you guys are besties.
Woo-hoo. But yeah, I do think it's a really good casting, though. I think it'll be quite interesting how their dynamic works next season, because if half of them are in the West and Isildur is now back in Numenor and Eärien has got a potentially quite an interesting story this season, I'm excited to see how they'll play.
Yep, and based off what you just said there, we did in our interview, perfect segue. Yeah, thank you, Northy. We got this
journey of a villain, kind of coming into his own, which is disturbing and scary. But also, I would just say the character Eärien over in Numenor has a really psychologically rich story this season, where she is in the court of the Kingsmen and Pharazôn, but her heart is with her brother Isildur, who now she knows is alive and has come back to the island. And the story to be told there of really divided loyalties, I think, is quite amazing. And Emma Horvath did a beautiful job.
Yeah, knocked it out of the park. Very excited to see Numenor this season. Of course, Emma Horvath as Eärien.
First of all, who saw that pronunciation for me? Pronunciation, of Eärion's name. And second of all, yeah, we got it right here. That divided loyalties, which is very, very interesting. I think this is one of the coolest snippets from the interviews, and I think this plays into Numenor having much bigger part this season. And I think, Patrick McKay even said in this interview it's going to be really exciting with Numenor this season. So I'll pose this question as we go back to the family shot, which is over here. How is this family going to work in season 3? Are we going to see some reunions? Are we going to see some emotional moments? Are we going to see some division, political intrigue? Anybody want to take a stab at this first?
I think it's going to be unintentional division, at least to start. When we ended last season, Elendil was on his way to head to, the Western Shores. That's where Anarion is at. Eärien is with the bad people, the ones that are trying to hold Queen Muriel down. And Isildur is on a ship back towards Numenor. And I imagine that ship is going to arrive in the same place where Eärien is at. So it's going to be like a 2 and a 2. And they're going to have to figure out, I don't know when they'll figure out that they're all around and back in Numenor all together. I don't know if maybe somebody's going to break bad, or if they're all going to just try to work together to reunite the family. But I think, at least at the start, it's definitely not going to be easy times for them, and there's probably going to be division for sure.
Division. I think a lot of the political aspects of the show we were expecting from Numenor, and I think this, family of Elendil really goes to show that we are going to be seeing a lot of that. So overall, this is one final question on this Numenor section. So we have, of course, the shot. We have Anarion, and then now we got that very interesting snippet from the interview. So do you think we're shaping up to see a bigger Numenor involvement this season, seeing its importance increase, of course, as we get closer, spoiler alert, to you know, what will eventually happen to the Island Kingdom. Any thoughts, Northy or Jess?
Northy, you first.
I think a lot of the Númenórean will be kind of part of the main kind of central arc of this season. I think we'll probably see a bit of the turmoil between Muriel and Farazan, and then when the elves turn up, I think that'll be quite an interesting dynamic, because I think Muriel has this idea like she has her faith, and she must do what's right, but she'll also do a lot for her people. And I think there's parts of it where it's commented that a divided Númenor isn't a strong one, and the elves need help. So what's going to happen between those episodes or scenes, however the kind of story arc goes, to then kind of maybe potentially get a united front towards the end of the season. But when, like you say about the political stuff, I'm really excited to see what Aarion does. Is she going to play double bluff, or is she going to be ousted? Because at the end of season 2, Farazan saw her obviously escape at the end, and then with the time jump and Isildur being back, who she thought was dead, is that going to change her dynamics and understanding, and maybe relationship with her father and even Muriel? So yeah.
Or is it going to be a triple bluff?
Maybe. Oh, that
No,
outfit just looks so good. Like, sorry,
but...
the thing on the screen, I'm like, I can't wait to see that.
Yeah.
Like, Tristan just
you know what's interesting? We were able to interview Cynthia Adai Robinson, who plays Muriel. Are you able to pull up any shots of her from the teaser that dropped, or the creature feature?
No.
Where's she been at in all this? Tucked away, hidden.
They are keeping Númenor mostly under wraps, which makes me think we hit it hard and fast right when we jump into the season. So they can't really show anything from the early episode footage they had, because it's very spoilery.
I did think it was really interesting how it was the fewest snippets, and I do think it'll be a really big part of next season. And I'm quite excited for the fact that they've not shown much so far, because I think, like you say, we can get chucked right into it.
And we did get a bit of a snippet here through the interview.
One way to approach it.
Yeah.
And of course Cynthia as well with Muriel. So this is more of a different question. So if you, Cynthia, yourself could somehow communicate to your character through space and time, what sort of words of comfort would you want to tell Muriel during this, I guess, kind of difficult part of her journey currently right now?
First of all, whose question was that? 'Cause I know we had the whole team help with. We let them know at some point, whenever throughout the series. We prepared so many questions for every single cast member. So whose question was this? I think that was an excellent question. I'm guessing maybe it's no one on this.
I think it was the others.
Oh yeah.
We got different.
Well,
it was
whoever
mine.
on FOF.
The talent one for Ben was mine.
The music on mine.
But yeah, let's go ahead.
That's a great question. I think I would say it to Muriel, and I'd maybe even say it to myself, Cynthia. Like, I often think of it's bigger than her. You know, it's bigger than any one of us. Sometimes there's this sort of, heightened sense of responsibility, or, the weight of the world. And really, it's sort of not just about you as an individual. It's sort of like for the greater good, and sort of, so, she's going to be going through a very, I will say, transformative season. And she's got a lot of responsibility. She's trying to lead a revolution, baby.
Lead the revolution.
Yeah.
And of course.
So first of all, transformative season. What do you guys think that could mean? And also lead a revolution. Anybody want to take a little stab at that? Revolution is an interesting part there for me.
Yeah, I think I don't know where she's going to be at the beginning of this, but if we're seeing Aarion play like a sort of double agent feeding info to the side of the faithful / the revolution. I mean, I feel like there's going to be some scenes there. I don't want to say too much about transformative and what that means, because
No, fair enough, fair enough. And I think the next question touches upon the relationship with Elendil, so we'll play that next.
Of course, potentially someone leading it with her is Elendil as well. And I was wondering, how
Thank you, Past Harry.
How do you see their relationship as of right now and how that's developed over time? What do you think these characters see in each other?
Well, they have a sort of a shared sense of faith, a shared sense of trauma, if you think all the way back to the first season, and a shared sense of responsibility. So I think that's sort of like the thing that binds them, and you're going to see these characters sort of on their separate paths, but again, for a common cause. So yeah, we'll see what the season brings.
Very excited, very excited.
I do sound very excited there. But overall, yeah, I think that's a good point, Varkin, you mentioned earlier, that we haven't seen much. We got a lot of the chat to catch up on as well. So I think that is true. That is true. Very true. Look at him. Look at the man himself. And
I think Belmont's heading out.
Oh yeah, thank you, Belmont. Always
thanks for
very
joining.
excited to. Yep, and thank you for the kind words as well. So yeah,
that's Bestie.
See you, Bestie.
No, I already claimed him as Bestie. Barking, you can't have all the besties. Save some for the rest of us.
Cool. Now I think next, or one of the final parts on the bucket list, is, and I think, Barkin, I'll let you take over this section. Is our buddy Thrain. Is this another one of your new besties? You're gonna try and
look. Sometimes I think of all the cool things we get to do and the things that we're invited to do and get to see and people we get to meet. Sometimes I think Amazon tries to keep me away from certain folks. Like they definitely kept me away from Peter Mullen. And I don't know why, because I feel like we would have been great friends. I just want to say
they don't want you stealing besties from them too. Not.
When I look at this, I just think there's no confusion. This is a dwarf, 100%. Like it doesn't look like a human. You can't confuse him with an
excellent
elf
analysis
or a
right
Harfoot. But I just want to say, because there's been other times in other Lord of the Rings things where sometimes the dwarves look very humanish, and I don't like that. But I just think he's dripped out, got that gold, got that silver. He has an epic, amazing looking beard. I like the thick eyebrows, the hair, every bit of this. I love. I'm here for whatever drama he is going to be bringing to Khazad-dûm this season, and some of the potential backstabbing or front stabbing, as Owain says, when it comes to Thrain v. Durin. And I don't know. I feel like the dwarves have done so well for 2 seasons that if season 3 is more like a soap opera mixed with like Succession, I'm here for it. At this point, I trust JD, Patrick, and the writers with what they're doing with the dwarves so much that I really not going to complain very much, and I'm just open to seeing what it is. I just hope that it continues to be on the level of the previous seasons, and they continue to earn my adoration for what they've done with the dwarves. He looks amazing, and hopefully, Amazon, if you're listening, let me talk to this dwarf at some point.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to holler at him.
Yeah. And look, I think it's one of the biggest stories of time. Who doesn't get into a few arguments or annoyances with your siblings or brothers? As having 2 brothers myself, I can relate to the storyline maybe. So I'm only joking, but yeah, tensions may rise. And it's funny, isn't he the elder brother?
I was gonna say that.
Why is his name not Durin? Any?
Well,
Maybe he just
obviously
had
he's been
bad
passed
vibes as a
over for the
baby.
title, which probably is where a little bit of that tension is coming from.
Ooh.
And now he's coming back to Khazad-dûm. And I've been saying, and I don't know this, but it is my guess that with the arrival of Thrain coming to Khazad-dûm, the only people that know about the Balrog, as Jess said earlier, it's Durin, Disa, and Narvi. They somehow have to convince the rest of the mountain
They're not
that there is a Balrog down there and that it killed my father. And I didn't kill my father, even though you saw me going after him and he didn't come out. I should be the king now, King Durin, and you guys should listen to me, and I'm doing the right things. But then when the brother shows up, I think it's going to have all that wiggle room for him to question that story, whether it's true or not. And then the previous king sent out word to all these other dwarves that if you come here and you send us, donations and crops and supplies, you'll get access to the rings. And Durin obviously isn't going to want the rings to be given out. Maybe Thrain will promise, if I'm king, you guys will get your rings. And this is sort of how he can take the throne from Durin, ideally without bloodshed. But we'll just have to wait and see.
I think that's actually a very cool callback, because if we go back to this,
I'd like to wear, other than a big massive beard.
Some of that chainmail.
Yeah.
Trust me.
I've got 7 of them. If so,
Yeah, but you're not even using them. They're in a box.
You're not even using them. They're in a box, so we know going
Yeah.
into the start of season 3.
He promised Disa he wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
I think they've set up something very biblical, potentially, between these brothers. There's just like a lot of brother references, the elder brother being passed over in the line of succession. I'm thinking like Jacob and Esau, or Ishmael and Isaac, or something like that. And that coming back later with some potential ramifications. So I think they've referenced other sort of biblical stories, and Tolkien does too. So I like where they're going with this.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. And maybe it'd be a succession within the show this season. And quickly, just to go back to this, this was really cool. So we have to lose evoking for a second. Balrog lines crawl back to your world above true majesty under the frail cloak, which is very interesting. But this shot, thoughts of the 4, is this the children?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, this is Gerda and Gamli grown up without having to wear their masks anymore. Durin and Disa obviously with them, and I believe that with in my interview with the showrunners, I asked them, the dwarves are the heart and soul of the show. To me, what is it you like writing about them? They said basically they write themselves, and that the opening shot of the dwarves is they're out on the run, which is what I think we're seeing here. So during this time skip, I'm assuming that maybe Thrain has already started to do some of the usurping, or maybe Durin's family just doesn't feel safe, so they're out on the road, maybe to go seek out a buddy in Elrond. Say, we've constantly bailed you out and helped you with all these things. Now it's your time to take us in, shelter us, heed our words, and then help us get back into the mountain and take back what is rightfully ours.
That'd be so nice if they're heading to Rivendell. They're not that far away, like Khazad-dûm and Rivendell. They're even closer than Khazad-dûm and like Austin Ethel, I think.
But I do believe that this is the first shot we are going to see of the dwarves in season 3.
Because they do say they jump in with the kids, all 4 of them together. So I was wondering that.
We also, sorry for that bit of a delay. We also have first look at a Mumakil. So we got some really cool concept art as well from the Empire edition. So the East is looking quite interesting. And do we think that this is going to be something Gandalf may ride? I think we saw that in the creature feature. So yeah, who's excited to see this, and why would Gandalf be riding a Mumakil? Any thoughts?
he's freeing everything and everyone, hopefully, in this region, including the creatures that are under the enslavement or whatever curse. I don't know if the creatures are also subject to that we've heard about. So I think this is going to be his friend. This Mumak. Well, it's funny how much we're like literally talking about the same things that we wanted to say for the pod. So I don't want to say too much here, but I like it.
I would just say that maybe this isn't one that in the creature feature, Daniel Wayman talks about getting to ride one. That's what Harry's showing here. But maybe this isn't the one he gets to ride. When he first started doing magic tricks out in the world, I think he hit a tree with a spell when he was trying to make stuff grow for the Harfoots, and he ended up destroying it. So maybe he explodes a couple of these before he finally figures out how to, warm the hearts of one so that he can ride it. Maybe he's a little bit of a killer. What do you think, Northy?
Yeah, I'm really excited to see more of the creatures in the show and how they become incorporated into the world. It seems if Gandalf is heading off to the east, I think it was mentioned that they kind of have to battle Sauron on two fronts. It's about, do they choose to do the One Ring, or do they choose about the Eastern armies, and will that be part of Gandalf's task? And will we see a bit of Tommy B? Yeah, I'm excited to see where it will go. And again, it's one of those bits that they've only just shown us glimpses, and not. I like not being kept to the dark, because obviously it's always a nice surprise, but I'm always intrigued on how they expand different parts of Middle Earth. So especially with the East and Khamûl and all of them, yeah, I think it'll be a good time.
Sorry, I was speaking unmuted. I was doing my classic yeah, but I think
So we didn't miss anything.
But something that I think the dwarves may have missed upon is this, the final thing of discussion today. Who let them in to Khazad-dûm? I think, throughout this stream, the one thing I will say, Valking, it's getting me more and more excited for this dwarven storyline. If not, one of the things I'm most excited for now. So much cool stuff. Maybe not be cool for you, but plot-wise, I think it is very cool. Do you want to touch upon this? Theories around this?
I think what's frustrating for me here is we have seen, at least throughout season 2, when everybody else is succumbing to everything Sauron is telling them and just loving all the stuff that he can bring and offer and the power, and he wins over everybody. Durin is the one who's constantly like, we shouldn't be wearing these rings. He even goes to the elves and is like, y'all are stupid if you're working with this man. Don't do it. You can tell he frustrates Sauron. And then we have this shot here where, after all the great work that he's done, being a tremendous dwarf and just a person of Middle Earth, this shot, the way that the Nazgûls are standing, facing us, along with the armored dwarves in the back facing us, makes me believe that this shot, there's already some sort of an alliance or an allegiance, almost, where the Nazgûl and some of the dwarves are working together. And I don't like that one bit. I think that, if Durin was still in charge, he would have ran them out of town. So obviously at this point, there's got to be somebody else who is in charge of the dwarfs. And what would be interesting? I keep mentioning Thrain because that's his brother, and he would have a claim to the throne. But it would be very interesting, just from a story standpoint, if it wasn't Thrain or Durin who was king, but there was a third who could potentially step in and say, well, I should have claim to the throne because of X, Y, and Z. And then that would throw another wrench into the dynamic there. That could be very interesting. But I think that it's probably Thrain has aligned himself with these evil creatures and Sauron's side. And that's how he's been given the throne in exchange for passing out the rings to the other dwarves, is what I'm assuming. Cool shot, though. Hate it, but cool shot.
Yeah. I'm in total agreement with you. Anybody else have any theories? Or should we move on?
Yeah, totally
I
agree
think you
as
nailed
well.
it on the head.
Yeah, I was going to agree as well. I just think the shot's really interesting how, like Varky said, is that it's just that they're facing us and there isn't any sort of conflict apart from the trailer where you see Durin raise his axe. And obviously, if they're searching for the rings and want the seven, then that's even more of a reason for them to maybe make an appearance in Khazad-dûm.
Yeah, and I think finding fully what that reason is going to be very, very interesting to see, to say the least. And talking about cool shots, my favorite shot, this might be so niche, but my favorite shot of anything so far is
Ever?
if I can find it. Maybe
in all
not.
3
It could.
seasons?
Well, it is this shot. I feel like maybe not my most favorite
This
shot,
is a
but I
good
just
one.
feel like this is what encapsulates. Sorry, I'm going really far into the camera. That's how you know how passionate I am about it. But it does really encapsulate Lord of the Rings for me, and Barad-dûr, our introduction to Barad-dûr, and we're also getting the the ring wraiths. Sorry, not the ring wraiths, not the Nazgûl, the fell beasts, and I think in the trailer, which I'll pull up in a second, there are some really, really, really cool shots of I think firstly the fell beast on the, if I can find it, but how much
The
do you guys
shot of
think we're gonna
Bloof.
Bloof?
Yeah, that's his name.
Bloof,
He's
the
so
fell
behind
beast.
on server lore.
Oh, sorry.
He's already been given a name.
Well, looks like hello Bloof for the first time.
This is Blue.
Bloof. Cool. So, do we think we're going to see any of the ring wraiths ride this season? I don't think so. I think they're going to stick with the horses, something we'll probably see in season 4. But I definitely think we will see Sauron fly one of these. Do you guys think we will? And I think I'm looking so forward to that. Any thoughts?
I think they're still babies.
This is a baby, but he could hold.
He can grow
Sauron.
quite quick, so you never know. But yeah, orcs for lunch.
Is that one in the
Maybe?
shot below Bloof? Because it looks dark. Like this looks like a fell beast with albinism, like kind of a failed sort of like experiment that doesn't look really ready for war. But yeah, it's hard to tell because these shots in the dark, if it's the same color in that one from above. But Northie, continue what you were saying. Sorry, interrupted.
I'll stick with maybe. I'd like to see them develop, and I don't know what the time sort of thing is going to be in season 3. Will it be another time jump, or will it just be we've had the time jump and then we get to see them develop? But if Sauron makes the one, does that then affect his beasties as well? Like he can give them that power, and we see them grow and become more feisty and darker and evil, and he can armor them up.
This has cracked me up as well. How to Train Your Dragon.
How to Train Your Fell Beast.
Yeah, how
to train your Bloof.
But I feel like with the fell beasts, I think it was mentioned during Hall H that Patrick McKay made mention. I think he asked Charlie, and Charlie forgot that they were actually originally eagles that got corrupted as a backstory. And I feel like once you do a show like this and you have to take, not liberties, but have to add stuff in, I feel like this is something that, same as Adar, is a cool addition. I think something that does work. I feel like that is something that Tolkien could have referenced, or maybe has even referenced to. They have access to letters that we don't, already have.
I don't think that specific one, but it's clearly a reference to the fact that, they've talked about Uruk being the, corrupted versions of elves or men, and Ents or trolls being the corrupted versions of Ents. And so I think it would be interesting to see this, even if this is not a specific one that Tolkien has called out as fell beasts or corrupted eagles. It makes sense to me. Like I've got no issue with this, and I like it. I like that that parallel. So
It just makes me wonder, like, if you can corrupt eagles to become fell beasts, why didn't they ride the fell beast to Mordor to destroy the ring in the movies? You know, that this it seems so easy. If it was
why
right
would the
there in front of them.
corrupted eagles help them if the regular eagles wouldn't?
You know, sometimes there's these wars where, you know, parties on all sides are just fighting
Yeah.
on both sides, and you know, maybe there was some good fell beast. I don't know.
I don't hate that.
For the record, I don't know how many times I've watched the trailer. It's been a bunch. I somehow miss this shot every time. This is a crazy shot. The VFX team does a tremendous job in general every season, but some of the shots that they've had in this teaser already have just kind of been like, this and the Balrog stuff has been through the roof.
Do you know what happens in this shot? Can you show it like moving? Do you see what he does?
Yes, sure. 1 moment. I think it is actually no, sorry, this is just a still image.
Oh,
but I
okay.
can pull it up. It'll take me about a minute. But yeah, go ahead if you want to explain in the meantime.
Oh, I mean, it's just like you can see an orc falling, like he got pushed off the balcony, and then the fell beast like catches it and probably eats it.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah,
I think,
like you can see it in the shot.
you know, the orcs, I think they're gonna have a rough few seasons, to say the least. But no, thank you for mentioning that. There's
You got
so
him in
many
his
cool little
talons?
things. Yeah, as you see zoomed in here, you can see him right there, which is
Yeah.
cool. So the one final thing I wanted to wrap up with was a question I was able to ask, and the showrunners. And in the meantime, Vulcan, let me know if there's a clip from yours that you want me to share as well. But I just want to see the live chat's thoughts on this right here.
Yeah, Charlie Vickers is like 6'3". That's true. Oh, is that what
Yeah.
you weren't going to ask that?
No. I was if there was a
He's
clip you
6'7".
wanted me to share for yours.
For you both. When you first embarked on this 5-season journey, the focus was initially on bringing the second age to life, and that was the main focus point. Now that you're beyond the halfway point, first of all, congratulations. It's been
Thank
right.
you.
Have you begun yet starting to reflect on the lasting legacy you hope the Rings of Power will leave as an adaptation of Tolkien?
I mean, thank you for asking that. That's a very deep and in some ways flattering question, that there even could be a legacy of the show. We are not the people to talk about it, though. We're halfway up the mountain, or maybe a little more than halfway. We just got to keep climbing. But maybe someday.
But it's funny, like, I got to look at some of the questions that were going to be asked us today. And that was one of the ones that just really stuck out to me, as like, it like actually got me emotional a little bit, to like think that, like, okay, there's a time where this journey will come to an end, and this show will be part of the history of Middle Earth. And for better or for worse, people will love some things, people won't love other things. But that very idea is incredibly emotional to think about. That we have that enormous blessing to be able to be part of that huge legacy that is much greater than us.
I think the part of it far much greater with us. I think it shows really good, awareness that, and I think at times people say, oh, it is this and that, but they are self-aware and they understand, first of all, it's a $1 billion show. It started off with, 3 seasons in now, which is, they've made it this far. And I feel like, it's interesting. I think it was a good time, over halfway point, to start reflecting on, what they have achieved so far, and also where they think some stuff went right, and of course again, not everyone's gonna love everything. Very self-aware of that as well. So yeah, I thought it'd be a nice very cool like understanding of this, is like almost a signpost of where we're at right now. So yeah, I think I just wanted to share that.
Whatever you think about various choices that they've made in the show or lore changes, what I hope people get out of specifically these interviews that the Tolkien creators have done with McPain, is that these guys know their stuff and they really love these stories, and they're not trying to like push any agendas or do anything. Like, they just want to tell a really good story. and they're excited about it. So what more can you want from someone who's creating something than someone who knows the lore and loves the stories? So I hope people can start to, if they've kind of not liked some of the choices, at least maybe understand where these guys are coming from, because I think they are doing amazing work personally, but I think they're also doing their best. Like, they're not phoning it in here.
No, no, and I think that's some very good remarks right there. And I think overall, is based off that season 2 to, well, that came out of nowhere. Season 2 to season 3. I'm not sure if I'll play the trailer a little bit. It seems a bit of a stark difference in tone, in feeling, to the first 2 seasons. Does anybody want to have maybe make a comment on that? It does feel different. Everything's more darker. Seems a bit more serious. Thoughts?
It's a dark time.
Yeah, I think season 2 was just it's the. I'll start again. So season 2 was kind of like the first big kind of jump, I think, from season 1. Season 1's nice and light, everything's going well, it's all like Fantasyland, blah blah blah. And then I think in season 2, as we get Celebrimbor and Anatar, you start to slowly see that slight difference between good and evil, light and dark. And towards, I think on so many of the rewatches we've watched, it's like there's a really drastic difference even just in season 2 from the first few episodes to the fall of the Region at the end. But I think season 3 is, we're going to see Sauron at his potentially most powerful. He's conquered and dominating most of Middle Earth. He's on is on his quest to find the One. His armies are spreading across Middle Earth. So it's like there's quite an aspect of despair and darkness, and it's where then, which I do love most about the show and Tolkien's writings, is that where are we going to see those little aspects of hope? And I think those little bits will be just as important as the overarching darkness. But I do love the darkness. I love the whole Full Metal Sauron in his villain era. I think Charlie Vickers plays him absolutely fantastically. And I look forward to seeing him kind of be stripped back and not have his Halbrand Anatar mask anymore. This is his season, I think.
Agreed. And I think that just reminded me. Sorry for keep on switching over to the interviews, but we did. I think someone asked an excellent question. Sorry, that's all I can talk about myself. Someone made an excellent question about light and darkness that we're able to get an answer on. So if I can find the snippet here. Oops, no, wrong one. 1 moment. I'll just put it up here. There we go.
Eye of Hope is the first to awaken.
Of moments this. Very excited to see Numenor that this season. Of course, Emma Horvath as the Ardian as well. And this next question, I think this is something I've heard you guys speak about quite a lot before. Tolkien's stories often explore the idea that hope can endure even in the darkest of moments. This season, of course, with the trailer as well, we're seeing this season is looking quite dark. As the Second Age grows increasingly darker and even tragic, how important has it been to preserve that sense of hope in the series? And maybe what characters or places do we see that?
Yeah, I think we literally make text of it this season. Gil-galad, who spoke to Elrond in a prior season about hope, saying, the Eye of Hope is the first to awaken and last to shut. This season, now with Sauron pressing so hard on all the Elven realms, at Lindon in particular, there's a scene where there's a scene where Gil-galad is standing surrounded by a field of elven bodies after a particularly difficult battle with orcs. And he's grappling with loss of hope. He's saying, I would do anything to give hope to my people, and they look to me for it now. But what can I do when it becomes increasingly obvious that we might not win this thing? So even Gil-galad, the most optimistic of the bunch, is struggling with loss of hope. And Círdan tells him, the only things in this world that are ever truly lost are those for which we cease to search.
I would venture to say that, potentially if there's a theme running through this season and
Yeah.
all of our characters' stories, it's how do you find hope in a world where everything seems to have gone sideways?
Yep.
Sauron is unleashed. No one is safe. His armies have marched across the whole of the world. It's easy to despair and think there's no way to win. And I think that's something that almost every character in every world is grappling with in one form or another this season.
Very, very exciting. And I think that gave us a cool little rundown of how the tone shifts, but everything is still. And again, as Katie mentioned it, Kid and reference, we even gave some dialogue of a discussion between them two, which is going to be very, very exciting to see. And talking about exciting, we have at least on Fresh fan side some really cool things coming up, especially in the next week. And I think firstly, starting off, I think Northy and Jessica, do you want to take it away about what's premiering next week?
Northy, you want to take it away?
Yeah, so myself, Jessica, and Rosie, we will be having a brand new podcast based on the Rings of Power called Nazgûl. So we're going to be exploring how the Rings of Power adapts, interprets, and reimagines part of Tolkien's work. And we'll look at moments of the show where we'll kind of do deep dives into their characters' stories and lore. So that's going to be from the costumes, the sets, the designs, the music. So if you love Tolkien and you love the Rings of Power, or you're just a bit curious, come join us because we will be premiering next Friday.
Very exciting.
Very, very exciting. Jessica, anything you want to add?
No, I mean, we just recorded our first episode yesterday, and it was great. And Rosie's in the chat, and so we're just super excited for everyone to listen and to be doing this in the lead up to season 3. I think it's going to be really fun. So yeah. And our art here is by Rosie as well. So it's we're obsessed. It's amazing. So stay tuned.
Shout out. No, for sure. And shout out to Rosie as well for that. Very excited to see, even listen to it next week. And on top of that, we also have episode 3 of our Appendices series, which is going to look more behind the production and behind the scenes of the making of the show. So it's more of production. So we look at the prosthetics, we look at the scale of it, the cinematography, the actual shooting of it itself. So very, very excited to have that as well. And I thought it'd be nice to end on this as well, just to show. I'm sorry, Jessica's fine to share like this.
No, that's
all
okay.
3 of us. Very there. Varkin, any final thoughts on that?
Nope. Just excited to check out the new pod, check out the new episode of the Appendices. More stuff coming from Fellowship of Fans. For those looking for a place to chat about the show when we're not doing YouTube videos, please come check out the Discord server. It's a very vibrant, active community. You're more than welcome to jump in. There's many channels. Lots of people who enjoy the show there. Myself included. But yeah, come check us out and hang out over in the Discord server too.
And if you're not sure where that is, we have r/Lord of the Rings on Prime right here, and also you can catch up on Varking's interviews as well, which we played a bit of today as well. And again, going back to one of my favorite interviews, if it is going to load, of the Benjamin one. But yeah, man, so many exciting things happening across the board. So yeah, I think as we end on this, I want to say firstly, thank you, Jess.
Oh, thank you. The audio cut out for a second, so I was like, "Where are we?"
Apologies.
But yeah, thanks for having me. This is great today. I feel like I'm just super. It's my first time being in the fandom in the lead up to the season, so I'm super jazzed. There's so many exciting things going on right now in Fellowship of Fans and the wider fandom. So, yeah, can't wait.
And sorry if I cut out while I was saying it's so many exciting things happening right now across the board. So very excited. And Jess, of course, you are part of a lot of that as well. Also, thank you, Northy. Very nice having you on today, hearing your thoughts. I think the chat really loved a lot of your thoughts actually.
Oh, thanks everyone. But yeah, thanks for having me. I will always happily yap about Rings of Power and everything else all day, every day. But no, thank you for letting me come on and chat. I look forward to chatting to everyone else in the future, and so excited to see. I know excited is probably the word of the video, but I can't wait for season 3 and the run up to it. So watch the space.
And they can hear you guys, as you said, watch your space, hear you guys talk about it in more detail next Friday, which is exciting. And finally, Barking, as always, a pleasure. Thank you for hearing your discussions and thoughts today as well.
Yeah, it's always an honor to be on and doing these things. And while we are the faces and the voices who get to have these cool experiences, it definitely isn't the same if we're not able to share them with all of you guys in the chat. We see, like, it's wild to me, not just the fandom of the show, but how many people tune in and check out and engage with our stuff. Like, when the Fellowship of Fans interviews dropped, it was like I was watching a famous TikTok streamer have his audience go nuts, where everybody was just clipping different things from the interviews and sharing them all over Twitter. Like, we see it, we notice you guys. The fandom is what makes us. Like, we don't get to do these cool things if you guys aren't tuning in. We don't get to do these cool things, and we don't come together and recruit cool people like Jess and Northy to the team without having an active fandom that's fun. You guys make this for us. You guys are like family and friends to us. I call everybody my bestie. You guys are now included in that as well. But just a huge shout out to the chat all the time. You guys are always locked in for us, always supporting us, basically since day one. It's been a crazy ride, but there's a lot more to come, a lot more in store from Fellowship of Fans.
No, and I echo that as well. And for some of you, I know I see some names in chat that have been here for like 5+ years, seeing where we started to now, being able to do those interviews and also be on the Rings of Power official page. That was, something. Zovakin, you were there as well. So yeah, I just want to say a big thank you to that. And because there was so much, there was one thing that I did forget to also mention, which is also just shows how much we are doing now. Good old Strider did mention that we also do have Fellowship of Fandoms, which is especially premiering with Fothcast. So you could check this out, our new channel. We're already 53 subscribers. Didn't even see that. We've probably got House of the Dragon episode 8 finale coming out tomorrow. You can see the Star Trek. And yeah, I think Strider and Shiv have been absolutely smashing it on there. And we got the Fandoms Film Club, Fellowship Film Club, actually, sorry. Make sure to please check that out. That is Shiv and Brian discussing, their favorite movies. So yeah.
And Barley's been doing a lot of movie reviews for the website as well.
Yes.
So many things going on.
Yeah, I know. It's
and probably most importantly, on Monday,
Lanterns.
When they drop their episode 8 finale of House of the Dragon, coverage on the Fothcast, that means we are officially
shifting
past House of the Dragon and we are into Lanterns Week, baby. HBO, 9 p.m. Eastern, Sunday, plus on HBO, like the cable version of it too. Big show. Tune into your boy, but I'll also be doing some stuff with the Fothcast around Lanterns as well. About to be the next big show before we get to the Rings of Power. If you like rings that have power, you will probably like
You'll
Lanterns
love
as
Lanterns.
Well.
Yeah. Yeah, see. No, and again, the Barking's channel is also on screen here as well. And we will also, be having cool Fothcast episodes on that as well. Look at that right here. Wow, what a cool wholesome way to end up on. And this might be something we have to do at this point, is a newsletter, because there is so much coming out every week. That is a really good point, Katie, and thank you for everything you do as well. Really appreciate it. And Harry, what is the update for New Comic Con 26? Well, normally I would say no, and I'm not sure if Rings of Power are doing anything or not, but normally it's after the show comes up, but this year it's before. So I'd keep your ears out, keep your eyes open, and
Ears open.
go and see what is in. But yeah, Marky, do you want to end the show? I feel like I've done so much talking. I feel like it'd be cool for you too. You always do it better than me.
Again, just a huge thank you to everybody who has participated. Like, we've gone almost 2 hours today, and it's just crazy that we've consistently been 50 plus people for most of the stream. We're rocking our merch. We're very proud of what we do, but we are most importantly proud of the community that we have fostered throughout the years. There's been some bumpy times, but we are in times right now where things are just thriving. And like I said, definitely join the Discord for us. Check out the website. But most importantly, we look forward to chatting with you all again on our next videos. That's it from us over at Fellowship of Fans. We can't wait to catch you guys on the next one.